Hi, I'm John and I drive a John Deere. And yesterday, my son Goose was driving the Deere and he was pulling a land plane and he was fixing the roads near old man Herb's ranch. Well, he noticed, my son that is, noticed that the skids were wearing thin on the land plane. So today we're gonna take a look at that and we're gonna see what we can do to fix that and what we can do to prevent that in the future. But there's a lot of facets because I've got to learn how to weld with stick and I've got to learn how to hard face. So that'll be pretty interesting. I'll tell you all about hard facing, what that is. We'll see if we can do it and we'll see if it holds up. Here's that land plane I was telling you about. And I've got about 10 miles on it and it's already worn its skids clean, almost clean through. Let's go to the main hangar here. This is gonna be fun because I've never stick welded in my life. And I picked up a stick welder from Harbor Freight. I picked up a new MIG too because my old MIG is, it's a Lincoln 140 HD and it's only 120 volts. So I picked up a 240 volt from Harbor Freight and these were for sale for 30% off. How cool is that? So today you're gonna watch me fumble. So take it easy guys, you know, I know that there's gonna be some expert welders out there, but take it easy. This is gonna be my first time ever holding a stick. And I wouldn't have been able to afford any of this project if it wasn't for our patrons and our channel members. We appreciate it guys. All the money goes right back into projects. So we got to unbox these, figure out how they work, get them set up and learn to weld. It should be pretty easy. Should get that done in like one day. No big deal. And hard face the land plane and fix the skids and stuff. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We got the strap on. We're gonna go ahead and let her down easy. It's always better with the strap on. Okay, here's the bottom of the land plane. I've never seen it before, believe it or not. Here's our cutting edges here. They're still sort of okay, but here's our skids. We can see how thick they're supposed to be, which is like almost 1/4 of an inch. But look at here. As I suspected, we're kind of ripping through. So this is the base material, or which is the actual frame. And here's our skid, it's just about gone. So I was wondering what kind of bolts they were using here. Like if they're plow bolts, but they're carriage bolts. You really want to use plow bolts because they're countersunk down in and they don't get all the way sanded off. But oh well, here's a carriage bolt. I took this one out as a sample for the hardware store. Look, our skids are almost fully here because I actually used the tilt on the back of the tractor to engage the rippers or not. You can buy these skids replacement from the company. They're $300 a pair, but they didn't last very long, so I don't really want to do that. So what I want to do is repair them by cutting out the thin sections and welding in some full thickness, just mild steel. And then after that, I want to hard face it. And hard face, what we're going to do is we're going to build up a pattern of super hard electrode. And you don't cover the whole thing. What we're gonna do instead is something like a waffle pattern here. We'll probably do it like this. I haven't decided yet the pattern, but what's great about these pockets is dirt gets stuck in these pockets as you're dragging it, and the wear becomes dirt on dirt wear. How cool is that? So that's why you do hard facing. I think 1 inch apart is about how I wanna do it. I don't wanna waste tons of material, but it might be something like that, or it might be something like that. Okay guys, well John doesn't know how to weld, so he asked me to come in and weld everything up. If you don't know me, I'm Herb from Herb-O-Matic. So I know how to weld, I know how to stick weld, but we're gonna figure it out. How hard could it be, right? Just kidding. If you're a welder, don't get panties in an uproar. Anyways, okay, so it's crazy hot out here. So one of the things we need to address is let's get this cooler full of water. It is a hot one today. If you do a real fast dunk, it sort of just mists the hat so that it doesn't get too wet and it cools you off. Oh my gosh, John took off and I've got to put this thing down on the ground. Let me see if I can get him to come back. It's the wife and kid coming to say goodbye. She's saying good night in her sunglasses. What are you doing, Maverick? How you doing? Maverick has learned to dance, and now he's tired. Let's get this nut off. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so I'm allowed to do that. All right. Oh, here's my old welder. It's not very powerful because it's only 120 volt. And it's transformer based, which is hell on your generators or your power stations or anything else. So here's a 2" by 1/4" thick piece of steel. Look at my steel rack. Look at that. Look at the safety there. 2 sawhorses. It started to lean over to the right a little bit, so I started leaning stuff towards the left to try to balance it out. Okay, got it. All right, in order to run our welders and stuff out here, we really just don't have power out in the main hangar. So that's where today's sponsor comes in, Oupes. And right here I've got the Guardian 6000. It puts out 6,000 watts of power in between the top unit and our extra battery here. We have 9.2 kilowatt hours of power. It's gonna run all our welders and our chop saw and our major tools. Over here, we've got the much more portable Mega 2 Pro, puts out 2,500 watts. And is going to be running our swamp cooler and charging our cordless tools. Now, Oupes is having a sale here coming up June 16th through 17th and June 23rd through 26th. Check out any links in the description. I've got coupon codes where you guys can save some money. And we're going to hear more about our sponsor later on in the video, if these units hold up. So let's see if these things can survive out here. It's over 100 degrees in the shop today. Yes, please. Oh my gosh, is that a welcome sight out here. It is roasting, guys. Now, one thing I forgot is I don't have a slag hammer or a cutoff wheel so we can cut out the bad parts of this. So hopefully the land will provide. Let's go look in the old man's shop. Let's go into the old man's shed here behind the grader and see if we can find what we need. Well, it's dark in here. Oh, good. Look, I never put away my lantern. So that's good news. All right. We're looking for a cutoff wheel for a 4.5" angle grinder or a 7" angle grinder. I'm not that picky. Oh, here's a grinding wheel. Look at this. Here's his cutoff wheel, but it's a worn down larger wheel from like a circ saw or a chop saw. Okay, so here's this. Now this won't fit on our tool without the arbor adapter, but this has got an arbor adapter in it. So it's not really that thin because it's made for a chop saw, but beggars can't be choosers, right? Thank you, land. The land provides. Speaking of the land providing, the wife designed all this merch herself and uploaded it to the store. So if you guys want any new designs, we've got them. Look at, laying in this rubble right here is a slag hammer. How nice is that? You don't have to buy anything around here. It just grows on the floor. The land provides. Thank you, Bill of the land. He has gone back to the land, but he's still helping us. Let's put that back so we know where it is. You take only what you need from the land. Okay, let's get out of here. See if we would have needed a hood. There's one right here. Okay, we have a few different welding rods. I'm gonna try to learn on the E7014 before we waste any hard facing. It is amazing how light modern welders are. This box probably weighs less than 20 pounds. Oh, don't cut towards your body. Cut towards your buddy, not your body. Or cut towards your wife and save your life. This is a 240 volt unit, but here's the adapter that will plug into 120 and then adapt it over. But we're gonna be running 240 always. Safety always off around here. Okay, the unit comes with the unit, your ground clamp, your electrode holder, your 120 adapter that we won't use, and some books. Let's take a look at the controls. Here you go, here's how you switch it from 120 to 240. Let's put it on 240, and then here's your amperage. And then I think that's it. You got positive and negative. Sometimes you got to switch them back and forth depending on the electrode. Okay, I looked it up and apparently this will do AC or DC, either polarity, but electrode positive is considered the best. So we'll just stick our electrode holder straight into the positive. Do you just turn these, I guess? I don't know, that feels like it went in. And then here's our stick holder. Okay, let's stick this in the other hole. All right, cool. This stupid plug is common to welders, but it's not really on generators or anything else. Look, our power station has every port known to man except for that one. So I picked this up off of Amazon. They always come with extra things like bags that you'll never use. What's this? It's like a nice rag of some sort. All right, well, I'll put that in the bag, I guess. Okay, there's our adapter. It's gonna go to a 1450p to whatever this is. I forget what it's called. And look at one of our pins is bent right out of the box. How great. How beautiful. All right, cool. There it goes. Now we got a welder plug. Okay, let's keep a supply of batteries charging. Yeah, that's charging. So I went ahead and threw out a couple of Oupes solar panels, even though it's not ideal. See here, we're still getting 136 watts, which is really extending things out. Okay, we'll just put that there. That looks clean enough. Let's flip this on. This is pretty thin plate. So let's go to the bottom of the range. Let's see here, it says amps is 110 to 160. So let's use 120. Okay, that's the 12 o'clock position. Use our ground to kind of hold our piece down. Looks great. All right, guys, wish me luck. I'm gonna try to do a bead straight down. Stick to stick immediately. Okay, that's probably bad. Is that awful? It has no structure to it whatsoever. Let's break it open and take a look. Well, that was cool though. I like that. I was glad I was able to hold an arc. Now I don't know the slag properties of these things yet. Oh, it has a full-blown house around it. Well, it's a weld. I don't know if it's a good weld. Let's try again right next to it. See if we get any better. Look how much material you can put down and how quickly compared to wire feed. Man. Wow. You can weld a lot faster. Wow, that is cool. That is so cool, guys. can weld a lot faster with a bigger bead. Feels effortless. Or I mean, wow. Okay, it still looks bad. Are you supposed to get the dimes on this too? Or is that just a MIG thing? The little welder's working, and so is our power station's running it. Okay, I'm gonna try less lean and see how that does. You know what? This might be too hot for this particular plate of steel. Let's vary something. Instead of just blasting. Yeah, see that? We're getting a little bit of over penetration. Let's go down to 110. That's a bad weld. Okay, that one was bad. I'm gonna throw out this stub here and try again. I watched 3 videos before I came out here. And I'll give credit where credit's due. I watched 3 videos on weld.com, their YouTube channel. Dude, I have never bothered to learn stick because I said, like, I've spent all the time messing with my MIG, I don't want to learn. But holy cow, will it be handy to grab this, like, I think this box weighs 15 pounds, guys, maybe 16. To grab a 16-pound box, run out into the field and weld whatever you want. You guys that have been stick welding are probably listening to this and going, yeah, I mean, that's... Okay, I gotta get a pair of safety glasses before I do any more of that hammering, but is that good? Or is that bad? Hi, wanna be my lab partner? Okay, let's try breaking this up. I don't know if that's good or bad or what. I just reviewed the footage. It looked like it was like mid-3, like 3,500 watts, so we're nowhere near bothering the power station. The power station does not care. So how many welds did we do? I don't know, a bunch, right? 7 welds, 99%. All right, cool. I am super pumped to learn a new process. I don't know that I've learned it, but you know, I'm in the process of learning the process, and it's a process. Let's get rid of all this stuff we've got over here, because we're experts now. You do 7 welds, and you're good. You're good to go. How much more could you need to learn? And look, if you ever wanted to curve a plate, that's a good way to do it. In fact, I think that's my new welding rig right there. How handy is that on a little wagon? This is obviously wafer thin. Look, it's even come through a little bit. Let me show you the edge profile. I have to take you guys sideways because you're wearing your feet. So that's full thickness. And we get over here to our front corner and look, we've worn it completely thin, and then we get back to full thickness as we go along. Let's just cut this sucker right here. We'll cut it here too. So we'll have a piece that goes like this, and then we'll have to do a weld, and then we'll have a piece that goes like that. And I'd planned on opening up the MIG today, but with how this doesn't feel like it's impossible, I think we'll just use the stick welder, hey. So you'll have to stay tuned for another episode. We'll unbox the MIG and mess with that. Now the whole reason I got the stick welder is for hard facing. And when you hard face, I've got special sticks for that. I'll show you that in a minute. But when you hard face, the stick welder is better. Let's change our wheel. Now nobody has a key that fits their wheel. Look, it doesn't go in the holes. But what you can do is it'll still work fine. Just put it, hang on. You just put it on the outside. It works fine, look at that. Let's go grab a battery. It's our Oupes. It's at 100% because the sun came out a little bit and zapped our solar. So filled it up. This battery's already been charged and it's working on the next one. Let's plug our grinder into our Guardian. There you go. There's our worn out piece there. Let's try to put a bevel on this one. Let's take our flappy disc and clean up the rust on these so we can weld. You are going to have to go somewhere else, sir, because he's a little one. Watch. Get going. Whenever they sell you a saw like this, they ought to sell you a block that can go on the other end of your table. Actually need to break his back about right here. All right, let's break its back right here. And we want to put a bevel on this too. So let's put a bevel on it. That's hot. Can you believe it? I like that. You guys won't believe it. I put 15 gallons in this and it's like sucked it all up. What's good about it being so hot is I don't have to do any preheating. The steel is already 110 degrees because I'm in an easy bake oven. I need to run a water line over to the shop because this is ridiculous. Our electrodes that we're burning were rated from 110 to 160, but let's put them on about 130 right there. Let's give these a zippity zappity doo-dah-day. So we got a couple tack welds there. This is a robber fly. What a weird looking critter. It's not great. God, this. I'm just not used to the speed at which the material goes on. It's amazing. So we're getting better. Okay, that's fine. Honestly, if you're gonna practice welding on something, the bottom side of something that's gonna scrape against dirt for the next couple years is probably the thing to do. That way nobody can see it. It's very tempting to just weld this to this thing in place, hard face it, and move on with my life. And maybe even just drill the hole in place and put the bolt. I think I'm gonna do that. I don't wanna like take this off, weld it, have it warp, and all that stuff. I really just wanna get this thing done. And I don't think it's gonna wear out as fast with the hard facing, and if it does, I'll get it off of there, don't you worry. I'm so pumped about stick welding. If I'd have known that how awesome it was, I would have just done it earlier. Because the boxes are cheaper too. $300 for a 225 amp box. What do you want? And then I'm just gonna try to weave this. Whoops. That's definitely gonna bond to my land plane. Whoops. My feed is not good yet because I'm used to the MIG, and the MIG feeds it for you. Whoops. Shouldn't have done that. I didn't know it was on already. It's too hot. All right. That's way too hot. What am I doing? All right, let me turn this down. Go 110. I don't know why it's not working right. You notice how when it has a problem, it's not working right? When I have a problem, it's not, when it works right, I'm doing a great job. Still got a lot to learn. I love it. I love this machine. Quick, let's get the grinder out before anybody says anything. Here's what we got so far. That's welded. This is welded. This is horrible, so don't look at it anymore. Why are you guys even looking at that? It's disgusting. Let's grind. Let me finish. Let's grind this off. You guys were worried. I wonder if that material was hardened. Let's check that, by the way. Let's zoom in here and let's put a couple of licks on each side. Let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. I missed and got 2 different spots. 1, 2, 3. Let's do a new one on the original material. 1, 2, 3. Identical. Was not hardened at all. Identical to the mild steel. Let me see if I can show you better. Cool, thanks Homestead Implements for putting mild steel on the bottom of this with carriage bolts that sand their heads off. Excellent. Honestly, we don't have to grind it too much because there's a grinder out there that's like 6 miles long that I need to go do. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. Let's hit this just a little bit to knock off any crap so we can hard face. And what I think I'm gonna do is, let me mow down the whole thing real quick and let's get rid of all the rust. Let's check out this, it might be nice, satisfying. For 300 bucks, we'll send you out some mild steel to sand right off. Now, I can't be 100% mild steel, but I'm highly suspicious. All right, so everybody calm down. We'll take a file to some of our hard facing afterwards and see if it's hard or not, or if I am. Just don't take a file to it to see. And if you can't tell, then you don't need a file to check. All right, let's keep going and stop being weird. Okay, this is all polished up and ready for hard facing. I have to learn how to hard face too, by the way. All right, so here's what we got. These are carriage bolts, right? Let me show you a new carriage bolt. I used carriage bolts a lot in vending because you can't undo them from the outside without a grinder, essentially. Okay, here's a carriage bolt, and they have a square shoulder, see that? And you put them into a square hole, and then they don't rotate on the outside, and then you tighten them from the inside. And here's one of the ones from the land plane. It sands the head off. But look at the extreme case. On the other side there, the bolt fell off altogether. But look at this. Look at this. You could see the square where the head of the bolt was, but it got sanded off by the trail. Now let's see if we can just knock that straight out. One whack with a hammer. In fact, look at this. One whack with a hammer, ready? A bunch of whacks with a hammer, ready? There it goes. All that's left is the shoulder. And here's the head. It's pretty funny, huh? We'll put in new carriage bolts, and that'll give a new wear surface, because these could be kind of sacrificial. Super easy to change, super cheap, like 30 cents a piece. Look at this. This is the second one. Look at it. There's our other carriage bolt. Nicknamed Skid Mark. Anyways, well, that's good. Now that we got these open, we can measure the distance between them so we can drill our hole on the other one. 15 inches on center, 3/4 of an inch from the outside edge. There's another fun carriage bolt. Like I said, you should have plow bolts here, but I have an idea. I'll show you what it is in a minute. Let's see how close we were. Oh man, I am good. Look at that. Dang. I know you don't know who I am because I don't have a hat on, but trust me, I'm the best. We got our clutch set so we don't go cranking our wrist too much. I want to crank your wrist a little bit, usually when you're home alone. Okay, wow. Now, I don't know how you get the square hole at home. I don't have a square bit. Look what I do have though, is a square file. How long do you think that would take? If we just went into this corner and went nuts. Long strokes are actually more effective than short strokes. Or so the wife says. She must be into land planes too. Or plows. Or plowing or something, I don't know. So I'm just going until she's bored. No, until I see that I'm scraping the green just a little bit. Oh my gosh, the damn tang is bending. Can you believe that? These Harbor Freight file is bending on me. I know that some of you guys are going to disagree with me on filing, that you want to use slow and steady strokes, because some of you guys want to do the shock and awe. Yeah, do you hate when it falls out like that? It's like when you think your file's longer than it is. At least with this, is the closer you get, the closer you get. It's not like, you know, you burp or something and then you got to start all over again or try another night or something. That's got to be done. There. Done. Homestead probably figured that people were grading their 200-foot driveway, and that carriage bolts made it easier and hardly anybody knows, and the warranty's a year or what, you know what I mean? So it's like built to a price probably. It's made here in America, and this is the pinnacle. This is the top of the line. I know you guys, a lot of you guys are saying, well, just fix the road grader. Well, road grader needs a lot of work, and that's a project in and of itself. Problem is, one of those projects, I've done projects like that, okay? And it's not like you see on TV. Especially here, you haven't seen it all out here. But it's not like you see on TV where you know, it's done in an episode. No, dude, you gotta order parts. That company's been out of business since the beginning of time, Austin Western. So I gotta buy junkyard parts, ship them. The cylinders and stuff all need to be redone. Half of them are bent. It can be done. You cast out the sun nets and the land provides electricity. I mean, everything. The land provides the water, the air, the electricity, any tools you might need. You guys, while we're working in here, right? Look out there. It's always changing and it's always epic. And that's my background while I'm working. It's always changing. Every time I look up, something beautiful. Speaking of which, look at that. Look at that woman. A tall, beautiful woman. Making tall, beautiful kids. Are you having fun? So I wrote down the specs that I could find for this Studi 31. And it looks like it's DC electrode positive, so stinger positive. 15 to 30 degrees drag, and 100 to 120 amps. So let's stick it on 100 amps, grab a piece of scrap metal, and go to town. Maybe I should grab the same thickness scrap metal, like a piece of this. When we're doing these projects, don't put anything away till the end. That way it's horrible. Okay, these Studi rods are very expensive, like 150 bucks or something. And so I don't want to waste them, but we need to do a couple practice runs. Oh, we can hear the air. Okay, there's the rods there. Okay. This is going to be harder. So you're supposed to get a surface bead like a worm, and that looks like a worm. I wonder if the wind is blowing away my arc somehow. Okay, that's what our look is looking like, but it's not supposed to be pretty. It's just supposed to be hard. That's what I've always said to the women. All right, so what do I do, guys? Is that the wind? Okay, I just looked it up. Anything over 5 miles an hour is too much, and we're getting bursts. So I was able to get a few worms, but it just looks like it's a no-go. I'm gonna have to wake up early in the morning. There's no wind early in the morning. I wanna run our 3 file strokes across this stuff and see how hard it is. It's much more resistant. First of all, it wants to skate around, but yeah, it's harder by a considerable amount. Okay, you guys, well, since it was too windy this evening to hard face the other side, I decided to just go ahead and fix up this side. Wow, that is way easier, guys. It's a very protective slag it gets. Wow. That is not bad. I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't know if they're the best welds or the strongest or what, but I've got usable welds. These sticks seem less sensitive to the wind by far. Is that what you guys are seeing? And it welds better, in my opinion. Well, it welds better. The Stinger on negative. Is that Dookie or what? I don't know. Okay guys, today is tomorrow. Sun just came over the mountain. Over here, what I want to do is 1-inch space boxes all the way down. Now the other thing I read is that Sharpie can mess up your welds because it's got sulfur in it. So we're gonna use a Milwaukee marker. These things rule, hence their name. Let's go every inch, and I'm just gonna mark the edge. I can do a line that long, hopefully. For years, I welded without a respirator, but I would like taste metal for a couple days afterwards and blow my nose and get metal. And the guy that was giving me welding tips at the welding store, I came back 6 months later, and I asked for him and they said he was dead, that he had breathed too much welding stuff. So wear welding stuff or you won't be able to give welding tips. Okay, thanks. All right, well that's not the best, but whatever, dude. We're gonna do our best, and it may not be good enough. Let's move our welding part closer. Do you smoke? Look what a dirty habit this smoking is. Smoking sticks. That might mean different things to different people, but she's not pretty, but my labor rate can't be beat. The corners here really take the brunt of things. So I think I'm just gonna do a continuous bead here. Okay, there she blows. And you're guys gonna have to tell me if she blows. What I was telling you about, this corner is the one that wears off first, right? And then it takes that bolt off next. But let me show you the magic of this. Is these beads are much harder than the steel, okay? That's why I'm wearing a mask, is because they have things like probably nickel and chromium and I don't know what else that's toxic. I don't even know what is toxic. But anyways, the point is that try not to breathe it. Okay, so this is the magic. We did a big buildup on this corner because it's a sharp corner. But then over here, we started leaving these open parts. And what they do is they grab dirt, and then dirt rides in these pockets. And then the dirt ends up being the wear surface. So you get dirt on dirt wear. I almost wonder if I should just fill in these parts, because this is what went first. What do you guys think? Or leaving the pockets better? Now the other thing too is our bolt heads now are sitting in these little holes that should help them. Okay, you guys, I need to do this side real quick, but I need to check the time because I have a live stream with you guys today. I'm always surprised when a project's actually over. It always feels weird, like, hey, you've actually finished something. In case you guys are wondering, welding gear is hot in the summertime. It is hot. And I don't mean from a fashion standpoint. I mean, although that too. Let me show you some of these later ones. Check this out. That's pretty. I mean, we're getting some beads. Starting to get the hang of it just a little bit better. Oh, it's hot. Can you believe the slag that I just welded with is hot? But look at that. This actually forms a little encasement around the weld, protect it from oxygen and stuff while it's cooling. Isn't that crazy? That's what all this crust is around the wire itself. See, the wire itself that you're welding with is only that inner part. This outer part creates that crust that protects it. Okay, you guys, there's the skid we did together. Looks good. It got better as we went along. And I went ahead and filled in the end here completely because we need some extra wear material on the end, because last time that's where it wore completely through when I tilt it this way to use the rippers. Now, here's the one I did after that. This one's all done. And I was getting better and better. I mean, some of these beads are downright respectable. Anyway, so look at this part. It's all filled in. So we got lots of wear material. The thing's gonna take a long time to wear out. Okay, next thing I wanna do is get this thing cleaned off. Let's flip it over, hook her up to the tractor, and let's go down the road and help our neighbor. Her husband recently passed away kind of suddenly, and her driveway is in bad shape. So let's go do a little dirt work. She's got about a quarter mile of driveway. We'll do some dirt work. It's gonna take several passes, and then we'll lift it up and we'll crawl under there and see how our hard facing is holding up. I'm super excited to see that compared to these bolt heads kind of thing. And that'll help her out, and it'll help us out. We'll get to try out our new land plane. Our new little welder worked great. That thing's awesome. It only weighs like 15 pounds. And something else that worked great was our Oupes Guardian. Look, it still has 59% after all of that. All this welding, all this practice welding, all the fabrication, the cutting, the grinding with the 15 amp grinder, it ran everything. And it never had a single hiccup, ran the compressor, everything. Got this whole job done. It has 59%, which means I didn't even need the bottom battery. What a great little welding mobile setup I've got here on this little wagon. And our Oupes Mega 2 Pro held up great the whole time. So thank you for Oupes for sponsoring this video. So let's take a look at the sales. Let's go through this real quick if you guys want to pick up some awesome deals. So June 16th through 17th, they're having a flash sale. And then June 23rd to 26th, they're having their Prime Day sale. Check out the links in the description. And if you use any of the links, it really helps out the channel a ton. So let's talk about some of the deals. Here's the Guardian 6000. This is this unit here. And there's a packet, this thing's gonna be $1,599. So that's super cheap. This thing's super capable. This thing ran my house for over a month while I installed the solar system. It went through all my torture tests in my full review video. And it's gone through even worse here. I mean, look at this. Now, if you purchase this unit with the extra battery and 4 of their solar panels, here's those solar panels here. I've been using them to keep the Mega 2 Pro charged. But if you buy this bundle with this, the main unit, the battery, and 4 solar panels, they're gonna send you a free Exodus 1200 power station as part of the sale. Now for our Mega 2 Pro here, this thing is regularly $699, but during the sale you can use code HOMEPRO, HOMPRO, and get 50 bucks off. And don't forget to use the links down in the description below. It helps out the channel a ton and it doesn't cost you anything extra at all. And if you're in the market for a different sized unit from Oupes, use code HOB, and that's gonna save you 5% on things like the Mega 3 or some of those awesome portable solar panels. Thanks Oupes for sponsoring the channel. Now let's go hook this thing up to the tractor and fix the driveway. Ah, this is still hot. Fix the driveway. I noticed that some of my rippers are worn through. Like, look at this one. It's worn all the way through. This one's getting worn through. So I'm gonna grind these back and put some hard facing on the bottom. It did not come out great. Whoops, that was a little bit more violent than I meant. And I'm John, by the way. I drive a John Deere. Can't see me because I'm just out of frame. We ain't gonna be able to help her much with forklifts, so let's help her out. I lift the implements up so that it's comfortable for me to put the pins in, so I don't have to bend over. Okay, well, the tractor is in dirt mode. We got our heavy dirt bucket with replaceable cutting edge, and we've got our newly fixed up land plane with rippers. So we are ready to go tear up her driveway. Okay, here we are. We're outside the ranch and we're driving up to see our neighbor's place so that we can help her with her road. It is a bumpy ride and we're going sometimes 8, sometimes 7. And she said it was 7 miles. Well, it's not a bad commute. It's pretty beautiful out here too. Chevy truck sitting out there. I think it's a Chevy, maybe I'm wrong. There's not a lot of it left, so. Okay guys, here's that driveway. Now let's rip it up. We've got the rippers down right here, just to cut all the washboards up and then respread it. Okay, here we are. It's gonna be slow going, but look at the rippers doing their work. So, do you see how I have it tilted forward? That's why it wore out the front of the skid first. But we put all that hard facing on there, so we'll see how that holds up. All right, and this is the driveway we're doing. It's about a 1/4 mile long. All right, let me see if you guys can see the washboarding a little bit. There's your washboarding. Look how bad it is. See how bad that washboarding is there? Well, that's pretty much the driveway. And we'll pull up all our rippers so that we can use the planer. So let me do that real quick. Okay, now we're just planing now. Okay, you guys, we got our driveway all done. We did a rip pass each direction, and then we did 2 smoothing passes each direction. And I used this hydraulic here to tilt it, and I put a nice crown on a road so that it lasts a little longer. And yeah, so 6 passes in total. And then after that, I got roped in by the neighbor who had a giant rift in his driveway, and I tried to close the rift for him. Yeah, anyways, it was mostly rock up there, almost no dirt. So we got an extra hour of wear and tear on our land plane. So let's go see what the damage looks like. Let's take a look at the damage. It's usually on the leading edge here. Okay, there's a little bit there. Not bad though. Not much, really. And our bolt head got it pretty good. Not too bad. Now the bolt head won't wear down all the way like last time because we have these beads surrounding it. So the whole thing's in pretty good shape. Now here's what's cool is that in the future, all we got to do is just grind down the part that wore down, like or just clean it up and weld some new hard facing on there. So, you know, maybe 30 minutes aside or less in the future versus replacing a set of $300 skids and paying for shipping and waiting and all that stuff. And, you know, we just throw a quick couple rods on there. I didn't bother to grind down the high spots, but it looks like that's going to take care of itself. Because the whole thing is one big grinder, you know. If you're into that sort of thing, there's an app for that. Okay, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. He huffed at him. Get out of here. He loves to like watch it fall out of his hand or feel it fall out of his hand.
I want to look.
Definitely fun. Hi.